So hi, hello and welcome again, Microbehunter here. Well, people have been asking me over and over again, what is your favorite microorganism? What's your favorite microbe? And I have to tell you, well, actually, I don't know if I actually have one. However, there are some microorganisms that I always keep on coming back to because they have some unique characteristics, and Vorticella is one of them. Vorticella also are known as belled animalcules, and they are single-celled microorganisms. And I would like to talk today about this microorganism a little bit because other people have asked me, can you not do some kind of a video series where you show people the different microorganisms so that this helps us to identify them when we see them under the microscope? And I said, well, actually, Vorticella is one of those nice examples here where I think they have a nice, interesting characteristic and where I can simply showcase them to you because they're quite common when you put water samples under the microscope. Now, the name Vorticella comes from the word vortex because under the microscope, you're able to see that those microbes are able to make circular motions of water because they have little tiny hair called cilia on them, and they're beating, and this causes the water to move in a vortex, and that's why they're called the Vorticella. However, they did not always have that name because when they were first discovered, because of the bell-shaped body, scientists called them belled animalcules. So belled little animals because of the typical bell-shaped body. However, I think it's not the fact that it's able to make those vortices or the bell shape that makes Vorticella so unique. Rather, it is the fact that it has a very rapidly contracting stalk. So it's connected to a surface over a stalk, and it's this stalk that's able to contract very, very rapidly. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that later. Vorticella can be found mostly in freshwater, like ponds, lakes, and rivers, and they like to attach themselves over the stalk to plants and rocks to a solid surface. I have also seen some of them actually grow on water fleas, on the surface as well. So basically, as the water flea, it's a tiny crustacean, moves along, you can actually also see that sometimes some tiny Vorticella were also connected to them. However, not only in water, but also in moist soil, even mud, and also on plant roots. I think it's important that there is simply sufficient water around them, and I think then they're going to be fine. Now, how do they feed? Well, they are so-called suspension feeders. This basically means that Vorticella will eat up pretty much anything that's sufficiently small, like for example bacteria, small protozoans, maybe also debris, which are fragments of biological material. And those cilia, they create this water vortex, these water currents, and between those ring-shaped cilia, there is the so-called the oral cavity where the food is taken up. So they're kind of moving the water, and then the food is basically sucked into the cell, and then it goes into so-called a food vacuole, and then there are enzymes present that will digest it, and that's basically how the Vorticella is able to gain nutrients. And when the conditions are right, there's enough food present, for example, and the cell starts to grow, then it's time to reproduce. And how do they do that? Well, primarily they reproduce asexually by cell division. Yeah, so what you have is you have one original cell connected over a stalk to a surface, and then when it divides, the daughter cell essentially will separate and swim off and go to a different place, and then grow another stalk, and then essentially start to get connected there to a surface. So there's basically, it will go to a new attachment site, and that's also how it's able to spread. And what I've seen sometimes is that sometimes they even grow in a colony where many of them are together, and when one of them starts to contract because it's disturbed, then all of a sudden all of them contract because of this little shock wave that travels along. This causes all of them to contract very rapidly. And it's now this stalk that I would like to talk a little bit more about, because that's one of the very unique features of Vorticella, is this contractile stalk. And there are special fibers in them called myonemes. Now let's forget about the biological terminology here. I think what's mostly interesting is that this contracting structure, this stalk, actually allows it to, is one of the fastest movements known in biology. So it's an absolutely rapid contraction. And I myself tried to capture this on video, but I have to tell you that my video camera system was not fast enough. So what you actually need is you need a high-speed camera, and which I don't have. And it's this rapid contraction that allows the Vorticella to protect itself from predators. Because it's connected to a surface, of course, it basically makes it susceptible to being eaten by predators, maybe larger microorganisms, maybe fish even, baby fish, maybe might also snails, possibly. But in any case, by being able to rapidly contract, it's able to move away very quickly from the source of danger. This is essentially so fast that scientists even continue to study this and discover that it's actually one of the fastest movements I have found in biology. I myself was also able to initiate this rapid contraction by carefully tapping on the microscope slide, and this little shock is sometimes sufficient to cause it to contract very rapidly. Some people want to know also what's the whole point of these microbes even? I mean, why are they there? What's their significance? Well, Vorticella, just like many other protozoans in water, they play a crucial ecological role in the sense that they're controlling bacterial populations. Because they feed on bacteria, they're reducing the number of bacteria in a body of water, and therefore they themselves can grow and reproduce and act as a food source for larger microorganisms and maybe also tiny fish and so on. So this means that they are part of a larger biological community where they themselves feed on microorganisms. They themselves are again eaten. This is a tiny food chain, which is very important for maintaining the health of a body of water. Let's not forget that if there are too many bacteria in the water, then the bacteria will also consume too much oxygen, and this pushes the level of oxygen down, and this is then a problem also for other animals, and Vorticella keeps the bacterial population down. Scientists, of course, also want to know how many of them are there, as of now, around 200 species of Vorticella have been described. However, it's also like this that maybe some of them are actually double descriptions. This is always usually the problem in taxonomy, that different scientists describe the same species and give it different names. So there is still, I guess, some cleanup work that has to be done. In any case, the different Vorticella have different sizes, shapes, and also live in different places. But I think that one of the difficulties is also that many microorganisms and other organisms are able to change their appearance depending on the environmental conditions as well. When were they discovered? Now let's go back in time a little bit, because Vorticella have been known for quite a long time. It was no one less than Antony van Leeuwenhoek. He was one of the first microscopists back in the year 1676. It's already a couple of hundred years ago. He already described them, and his microscope was not good enough yet, so he could not clearly see those ring of cilia, and he just thought that they kind of looked like tiny little horns standing out. But nowadays our microscopes are already good enough that we can actually see also the cilia moving around. But fossil records also indicate that Vorticella has been around for quite some time, and that apparently they have not changed so much over the years. So it's also quite interesting in that sense. And the last interesting fact is that scientists have been fascinated by this stalk and the rapid contraction of the stalk. And for this reason, they have been studying it for the purpose of nanotechnology. So maybe it's possible, if we understand how those mechanisms work, how it's able to contract so rapidly, maybe we're able to reproduce that or regenerate that or engineer that, so that we can use also nanotechnology to make so-called microactive actuators, these are tiny little machines or motors, on a microscopic level. So that's also a sign that scientists are now, engineers are now looking at nature to be able to copy the things that were successful in nature for engineering. This field of study is called Bionics, by the way. The idea is that it's not necessary to reinvent the wheel. Let's just copy nature a little bit, and let's see what works in nature. And so maybe we can learn from that as well, and try to re-engineer nature in our lab in that sense. Yeah, so I think it's enough for today. I hope that you liked this video with a few facts about Vorticella. And the next time when you find an interesting microorganism that's on a stalk and able to contract very rapidly, then you already know that you've probably found one of those Vorticella species. And then I can recommend only try to tap the cover glass of the microscope very lightly. Maybe you're able to get it to contract as well. I wish you all the best. I want to invite you, of course, to subscribe to the channel, to click the like button, and to give me a thumbs up. And I wish you all the best. Happy microbe hunting as always. See you around next time. Bye-bye.